Welcome back to Objective 7 in Chapter 13 of our 3A1 series. This will be another fairly quick objective. And in this objective, we're going to describe the production of carbon and alloy steel using the open hearth, basic oxygen and electric arc furnace processes. So the first one to talk about then is the open hearth process. Now, the reason why the open hearth furnace came about was that in order to produce steel from pig iron, you need a great deal more temperature, and also we have to remove a lot more impurities to get that carbon content down, as well as remove impurities like phosphor, for example. Now, the open hearth process is no longer used as it's very slow. Your textbook says it uses around about 5 to 10 hours to create a batch. Most of the ones I've read about are usually about 8 to 8.5 hours, which is an extremely slow process when compared to the basic oxygen furnace or even the electric arc furnace. Now, the way in which the open hearth process works is that scrap iron is taken with pig iron and our molten ore from our furnace that produced our pig iron, and then it gets charged into this open hearth furnace. Now, in the furnace, the impurities will be further reduced, with again slag being removed off of the top from a different hole. Now, the idea of the open hearth process was that in order to increase the temperature and also to increase the efficiency of the furnace, they used what was known as a regenerative furnace. And that basically is a clever way of saying that every 15 minutes, the air and the gas flows were reversed across the furnace. So in other words, if you look at your diagram on figure 12 here, which is on this next diagram here, we can see that the combustion gases are being reversed every 15 minutes from these two side chambers, so it flows across the top of the molten metal. Now, of course, because it's producing steel, it can also have other elements added into the mix, so we can produce steel alloys. The typical batch size of an open hearth process is usually anywhere, or I should say was, usually anywhere from 50 to 100 tons. So there you go, that's the sort of quick overview of our open hearth process. Now, what replaced the open hearth process was the basic oxygen furnace, and these started coming around about in the 60s, 70s, around about this sort of time. A basic oxygen furnace is like the one that we saw on that United States Steel video in an earlier objective. Now, the way in which the basic oxygen furnace, or BOF furnace, it's often abbreviated to, it basically is a large pear-shaped vessel that's lined with refractory brick, and into it we put scrap metal as well as our pig iron, whether in pig iron billets or molten again. And typically these use as much as 30% scrap metal. Now, inside of this thing, we have to raise this temperature extremely to high temperatures, and we're talking here around about 2500 degrees Celsius, so much hotter than, for example, than a blast furnace, which will be around about that 1600 to 1650 mark. Now, the reason why it's called the basic oxygen furnace is that an oxygen lance is inserted down into our molten metal, and this is going to cause massive amounts of oxidation to raise that temperature of our combustion process. In order so that the oxygen lance doesn't melt, it's also going to be water cooled. So a very important process aspect of this to water cool that lance so it doesn't overheat, introduce the oxygen in, and now raise the combustion temperatures. Now, the overall sequence of this, and I've taken these diagrams, by the way, from your 4B textbooks. First of all, charged with scrap iron, up to around about 30%. Then our molten pig iron is going to be added. The oxygen lance that's water cooled is then going to be lowered. Combustion takes place. Temperatures raised to around 2500 degrees C. And after about 45 minutes, we have ourselves a batch of steel that's been made. Now, of course, in step number 3, also any other alloys can be added, or elements can be added, to create a custom-made alloy. And all this takes place in about a 45-minute period compared to several hours that the open hearth process took. Once we've now created our batch, the basic oxygen furnace is now going to be tilted, and it will be tapped where all that molten steel now is free to run out, as well as then the slag being removed. The molten steel will be typically poured into casters, and then of course it can be then set or cast into whatever shape is required by the foundry. And as we saw earlier, usually in large sort of rectangular shapes. So here's this sort of summary overall then of the typical sorts of questions they ask. The buff furnace uses scrap iron and pig iron to produce steel. And again, we can produce alloys as well if we add in other elements. This occurs at around about a temperature of 2500 degrees C, much higher than our blast furnace. The batches are far more quickly produced than the open hearth process, around about that 45 minutes. The oxygen lance supplies oxygen to provide oxidation for combustion. It's water cooled so it doesn't melt, and it's also of course a much more efficient process as compared to the open hearth furnace. The last one to talk about then in this objective is the electric arc furnace, which is often abbreviated to EAF. Now these ones are interesting because there are no combustion processes created in the electric arc furnace. So it's a very clean process, and because of that there's also now no risk of gas occlusions in the metal or in the steel that's going to be produced. So therefore the highest quality and the highest purity of steels come out of an electric arc furnace. Now the way in which this works is that it basically uses electricity being conducted between these large 3 graphite electrodes, and these are supplied by very large power transformers, and they use extremely high voltages and high power ratings. Large arc furnaces, for example, can be as high as like 80 megawatts. That's an extreme amount of energy and power. Now inside this thing we're also going to introduce oxygen into the electric arc furnace as well, and that's going to help us remove our impurities and increase the purity and the quality of our steel. It's a very, very rapid process, and when these things are in operation they buzz with the corona effect as the electricity used is so very large. Okay, let's take a quick look here at a sort of very quick electric arc furnace overview and an animation as to how this thing works. So great little overview animation there of how the electric arc furnace is done in operation. So with regards to the electricity that this thing's using, as I mentioned, it uses these graphite electrodes, and these electrodes don't last forever. They do have to get replaced after so many hours. The electricity the thing uses is either AC or DC, depends upon the furnace itself, and in terms of the types of steels that these can produce, as well as of course different alloys, these will be for the highest purity and quality as we've mentioned. So typical things like automotive bodies, bearings, magnets, valves, tools, various grades of stainless steel like D2 stainless for example, as well as heat resistant steels and even aircraft steels, which of course are going to use certain alloys like duralumin, which is a magnesium aluminum alloy. So the highest purity metals really for the highest specification jobs or projects. So good stuff there. Okay, that's it for Objective 7, a pretty quick and painless one. Give these a quick read. I'm sure that most of that you covered in 4th class as well. And then when you're ready, let's go ahead and take a look at another fairly quick objective for Objective 8, and we'll just have a quick chat about non-ferrous metals. So, whenever you're ready, I'll see you back for the next one.